She walked into that courtroom earning $42,000 a year. As a Hospice nurse, she walked out owning a $6.3 billion tech empire. But here's the twist. She didn't inherit it from family. The truth is so insane. The judge had to verify it 3 times. This is Elena Vasquez. And the signature that changed Silicon Valley forever. "6:23 a.m. Sunrise Hospice, Palo Alto, California. Elena Vasquez was starting her 3rd double shift this week. Hospice nursing paid better than most $42,000 a year. But not enough. Not when you're drowning in $280,000 of medical school. Debt from the nursing degree you almost finished before your father got sick. 3 years ago, she dropped out to care for him full-time. He died anyway. Every paycheck went to debt collectors and rent. She lived on ramen and hospital cafeteria leftovers. Hadn't been home to see her mother in 2 years. Couldn't afford the flight to Texas. At 29, Elena spent her days helping people die with dignity, while her own life felt like it was slipping away. Every Monday and Wednesday, 7 a.m. sharp. James Mitchell. Elena didn't know his last name then. Didn't know he'd founded TechCore Solutions. Didn't know his AI software ran half the world's infrastructure. Didn't know he was worth $7 billion. To her, just the man in the garden. The one who wasn't a patient but came to sit by the koi pond. Every week. But James noticed things. How Elena moved through the hospice with quiet grace. How she held patients' hands during their final moments. How she cried in a supply closet after losing someone. Then composed herself and went back to work. He noticed her worn Nikes with the sole coming loose. The same scrubs rotation. The protein bars she ate for lunch because the cafeteria was too expensive. One Wednesday morning, he broke the silence. "Sit just for 10 minutes. You look like you need it." Elena glanced at her watch. Her break was almost over, but the garden was empty. She sat. They talked. He asked about her work, why she chose hospice care. She mentioned her father, how watching him die made her want to help others do it with dignity. James's eyes watered. His wife had died in hospice 5 years ago. That 10-minute conversation became ritual. Every Monday and Wednesday. The bench by the koi pond. 2 souls connected by loss. 8 months of Mondays and Wednesdays. James became the father figure Elena had lost. She became the daughter he never had, his son Brandon. Only called about stock options and board meetings. Elena didn't know this. She just knew James was kind. That he asked about her dreams of finishing nursing school. That he believed she was wasting her brilliance. Then one Wednesday, James handed her a business card. Elena read it. Her jaw dropped. You're that James Mitchell? The James Mitchell?" He smiled gently. "I'm just an old man who enjoys our talks. The company doesn't change who I am." But to Elena, everything changed. She felt embarrassed. Like she'd been complaining about poverty to a billionaire. The next Monday, she avoided the garden. Took her break inside. She didn't see the loneliness return to James's eyes. 4 weeks later, Elena got paged to room 217. A new admission. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Weeks left. Patient requested her specifically. Elena walked in and her world stopped. James. In the bed. Dying in the place they'd met. "Hello, my friend," he whispered. They talked for hours. James told her everything. His life. His regrets. His son Brandon, cold, calculating, who'd turned the company into a soulless profit machine. His daughter-in-law Amber, venture capitalist shark who only saw dollar signs. They visited once, for 5 minutes, asked when I'd finalize my will. Elena squeezed his hand. "I'm so sorry, don't be." James's eyes cleared, focused. "Elena, I need something from you." He pulled out an envelope. Legal documents inside. "I need you to sign this. As witness to my mental capacity. It's important. Please trust me one more time." Elena scanned the papers. Dense legal language. Something about corporate succession. Her name as witness? Trustee? She should have read every word. Should have asked a lawyer. But James's breathing was labored. His hand shaking. She signed. "Thank you," he breathed. "You've given me peace." 6 days later, he was gone. Elena attended the memorial service in a Target dress, genuinely sobbing for a friend who'd seen her humanity. 100 feet away, Brandon and Amber stood looking annoyed, scrolling through emails, checking stock prices. No tears, no grief, just impatience. Waiting for the will reading. Waiting for billions. Elena didn't stay for that. She wasn't family. She had a shift starting. She had no idea a bomb was about to detonate. 1 week after the funeral, Brandon Mitchell sat in the lawyer's office practically calculating his net worth. $7.2 billion estate. TechCore Solutions. The AI company running global infrastructure. Board seats. Power. All his. The lawyer, Margaret Chen, 70 and unshakable. Open the digital will on a screen. "To my son Brandon, I leave my vintage car collection, valued at $4 million, and my Napa vineyard." Brandon's smile widened. The appetizer. "To Amber, my art collection, $18 million. Amber smirked, still waiting for the main course. Then Margaret read the next line. Brandon's universe imploded. The entirety of TechCore Solutions, including all shares, intellectual property, subsidiary companies, and liquid assets valued at $6.3 billion. Leave in irrevocable trust to Elena Marie Vasquez." Silence. Then Brandon exploded. "Who the hell is Elena Vasquez?" Margaret adjusted her glasses. "A hospice nurse. Your father's friend. The trust is ironclad. She has full control. Immediately." "A nurse?" Amber shrieked. "This is insane." "She manipulated a dying man. He was evaluated by 3 independent psychiatrists. Completely lucid. He anticipated this reaction." Elena was microwaving leftovers when the pounding came. 4 lawyers. Corporate suits. Briefcases. "Miss Vasquez? We represent the estate of James Mitchell. We need to speak with you immediately." Eleanor's heart sank. Did James leave her in legal trouble? They explained and explained again. Elena couldn't breathe. "I'm sorry, I own WHE. $6.3 billion in assets, Miss Vasquez. TechCore Solutions. You're one of the most powerful people in Silicon Valley." Elena laughed hysterically, then sobbed, then laughed again. "This is insane. I was just his friend. I'm a nurse." Margaret pulled out a tablet. James's video message, recorded 2 days before he died. Elena watched through tears. "Elena, you showed me more humanity in 8 months than my son showed in 42 years. You saw a person, not a portfolio. Brandon will fight this. He'll destroy you if he can. But I watched you care for dying strangers. With more compassion than he's shown anyone. TechCore was built to help people. Brandon's turning it into a weapon for profit. You deserve this. But more importantly, the world needs you to have it. Don't let them break you. Save what I built. James. Elena sat stunned. The document I signed, what was it? Trustee designation. Mr. Mitchell didn't tell you to ensure genuine consent free from the pressure of knowing. Brandon demanded a meeting. Elena came straight from hospice. Hadn't changed, still in scrubs. Brandon and Amber sat in a restaurant where wine costs $500 a bottle. They looked at her with pure disgust. Name your price, Brandon said coldly. Excuse me. $100 million cash. Sign over TechCore and disappear. You'll never work again. Take it. Elena should have been tempted, but she remembered James's video. Save what I built. No. Amber laughed viciously. No? You have nitrogen monoxide idea. James wanted me to protect TechCore. I'm going to honor that. Brandon leaned forward. Voice venomous. You're a nurse. You know nothing about tech. We'll bury you in litigation. Prove he was incompetent. Destroy your pathetic career. You'll beg to give it back. Elena stood. Hands shaking. Voice iron. See you in court. Brandon sued. Claimed elder abuse. Diminished capacity. Fraud. Media went nuclear. Nurse steals tech empire. Elena's face everywhere. Death threats. Harassment. But her legal team, the best James's money could buy, started digging into Brandon's tenure as coup. What they found changed everything. For 4 years, Brandon had been systematically looting TechCore. $127 million. Shell companies in the Caymans. Fake vendor contracts. Stock manipulation. Insider trading. James knew. He'd known for 18 months. Hired forensic accountants who documented everything. But James was dying. Stage 4 cancer. Months left. Brandon was waiting for him to die so he could inherit everything. Erase the evidence and continue the theft as CEO. The investigators found emails. Texts between Brandon and Amber from 6 months ago. Old man has maybe 3 months. Then we're set. Once he's dead, I delete the forensic files and we're untouchable. $7 billion and nobody will ever know we took $127 million. Dad's too weak to fight back anyway. James didn't leave his empire to Elena because she was kind. He left it to her to save it from his criminal son. Brandon wasn't just greedy. He was destroying everything James built and planned to sell TechCore's AI to the highest bidder. Ethics be damned. James's final act was ensuring his life's work didn't become a weapon. The trial lasted 5 weeks. Brandon's lawyers tried everything. Media manipulation, character assassination, tech bro intimidation. Then Elena's team presented the embezzlement evidence. The emails. The offshore accounts. The deleted files they'd recovered. Courtroom went dead silent. Brandon went grey. Amber looked like she'd faint. The federal judge's voice was ice. Mr. Mitchell, you're not only losing this case, you're facing federal charges for wire fraud, securities fraud, and embezzlement. Bailiff, case dismissed. Brandon and Amber arrested on the spot. Elena won. 6 months later, Elena stood in the office that was now hers. But she'd changed everything. Gone was the cold tech bro aesthetic. She'd made it human. Purposeful. On the wall her hospice nurse badge framed. She never wanted to forget why she was here. She kept her promise to James. TechCore now had an ethics board. AI used for healthcare. not surveillance. Employee profit sharing. Mental health benefits. She'd established the James Mitchell Fund. $800 million for hospice care and nursing scholarships. She'd personally paid off medical and student debt. For 3,000 healthcare workers. She wasn't trying to change the world. She was trying to honor a man who believed technology should serve humanity, not the other way around. Every Monday and Wednesday. 7 a.m. Elena returned to the garden. She sat on their bench by the koi pond. And for a few minutes, she was just a nurse having a moment. With the memory of a friend who saw her potential. Dr. Kim would walk by and smile. "Everything okay, Miss Vasquez?" Elena would always nod and say, "Everything's perfect, just talking to an old friend." She wasn't talking to Dr. Kim. She was talking to a man who'd seen humanity in her. When the world only saw a uniform. Who believed in second chances. Who proved that the greatest technology is kindness. And who made sure his legacy lived on in someone who would never forget what matters. Elena Vasquez went from $42,000 a year to controlling $6.3 billion. But the real fortune was the friendship. Sometimes the greatest inheritance isn't wealth. It's being seen by someone who believes you can change the world and having the courage to prove them right.